positive impacts. But I mean, for basketball wise, I mean, Brad Thomas with Trojans. I mean, you, Mark Hendrickson, Kelly Carmichael, all those guys from, like I said, 2nd to 5th grade. And then middle school, I mean, at that point, you kind of switch coaches every year and they're in and out. I'm trying to think. I don't even really. 7th grade, 6th grade was Coach Akers, 8th grade, maybe Coach Hamlin, I think.
Yeah.
But those, like all those guys, I mean, baseball, Ray Robertson, all those guys, positive impacts and positive people in my life.
Yeah, you mentioned, multiple sports there, with football and baseball. I mean, how does, obviously you're a basketball guy. How does those other sports kind of, relate to basketball? Did that make you a better athlete, or did you learn a little bit from all those sports,
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely did. You learn a lot from all those sports. But just like for me, the competitive side, I mean, sometimes like growing up basketball, our baseball team when growing up, I think was a little bit better than our basketball team. We were a little bit like one more game stuff. So you're still competitive. So you get that kind of side of you to bring out when you're at a young age. But also just like the grind and kind of learning like what you got to do, what you put into it is kind of what you're going to get out of it. And I think that's like important at that age too. I mean, I know you're young, but still like just learning to fall in love with something, like that's kind of how it was for me. Like I enjoyed and loved playing all three, but there was one that like I loved more, and I kind of figured that out by doing that.
Were you like basketball kind of found you probably because I mean you're tall, you got a skill set, you can dribble, you can shoot. Were you good at anything else?
I was good at baseball. Football, I mean, I was fine. Like I stopped playing, I think in 6th grade. Baseball, I played all the way up until I think my freshman year of high school. I enjoyed those, but basketball was like fast paced and just more my speed. And then I kind of just realized like I needed to focus on, I guess, one at the time rather than all three. Just especially with nowadays all the AAU and like all the extra events and extra time you got to put in to get noticed or all that type of stuff.
Now I've seen you play some softball. You're pretty decent on the softball field.
Yeah, I did. I haven't been able to play the past couple of seasons, but I know maybe my junior, senior, maybe freshman year of college, I played at church out there in the church, and I enjoyed that, man. I mean, it's a little bit more fast-paced definitely than baseball because, I mean, it's all mostly strikes and then, whatever. Well, I don't even know the rules. There are different rules out there, but
they're close.
Yeah, they are close. But no, I really enjoy that. I think I'm signed up again this year, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Let's see you on a softball field. Nice.
Speaking on AAU, you touched on that a little bit. There's a lot of, I guess, things have been transitioned over to more of like specialty sports. Folks who just play basketball, folks who just play baseball, and they play that year round. I mean, what's your take or what's your experience during the AAU times in sports as far as middle school age through high school maybe?
Looking back from, I guess, my experience, I think it depends on the person and like what they're wanting to get out of it and stuff. For me, it was, super helpful that I focused on basketball, but I do think I could have played the other sports too. Like, I mean, at the time, I don't think I could have, but like looking back, I think it was definitely possible. Maybe until like your junior year of high school, maybe. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe, you can play your senior out. I mean, everybody teach their own, but I think it's important, especially sports. Like, I think personally, it's just like kind of like the work ethic and like what you put in and after practice and after times. Like if even in baseball season or whatever, if you can still wake up in the morning and go get shots up or do stuff after school before practice, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's still time to get that work in, even though you're in another sport. I think it's just like kind of being fully committed to the sport that you like want to pursue, if that's your desire, and then like still spending time with other sports, but just making known which one you want to pursue.
Right. You talk about, that extra time, and, you hear stories all the time about young athletes, middle school age, high school age, they're getting up a lot of extra work. What does extra work mean to you?
For me, extra work, just putting in time, like I said, like after practice, after when you may not want to. I know for me, I was just like early mornings, like getting up and getting shots in or getting a workout in before school was how I like to do it. Some people like to go back later at night, and that's teach their own, but just like always having putting extra work in, whether it's the weight room, the gym, classroom, all of the above, but just like getting a mindset to where you're going to outwork everybody, and that's how you're going to get better.
You're pushing yourself.
Yeah. And you're creating a habit, essentially. So And you create a habit, and you're just going to adapt to that and do that every single day once you find that.
And you can tell with athletes, like if you watch the sports, you can tell like who's putting in effort when nobody's watching, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Because that's the ones that are getting better. And then when they come back out the next season, you see that they're way better than these guys that were way better than them.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
Yeah. We talk about folks out there putting in extra work like yourself. You went through, the junior pro ranks, middle school, you're going through high school, and as you're progressing through, we talk about the extra work in AAU. A lot of folks out here today feel like practice is enough. Let me go join an AAU team and let me get noticed that way. What's your take on that?
I think there's benefits to AAU. Obviously, I mean, playing against better people, like, being challenged, whatever. But the extra work is the main thing to me. I mean, you need that every single day. I mean, AAU is great and all. I still think you need to play AAU. It's good. But, like, if you're just playing AAU and not getting the extra work, I don't really see a benefit of that because it's just, like, pick up, essentially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think the extra work, like, just extra drill work, extra shots, whatever, just becoming a better player rather than, like, just saying, I'm going to play on the weekends and, like, just get better by playing with a different group of guys or at a higher level, which I think does benefit you, but you still have to put in the work on your own to get better.
Right.
Where I don't see, like, a better, you getting much better. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was told by a professional coach that I spoke with that was from a different sport.
Yeah.
I was told that high school basketball, in his opinion, and, he's with another sport, like, pretty big, that high school basketball would be irrelevant in the next 5 or 10 years, and that coaches would only go to watch AAU for college. What do you think? Do you think that's any truth to that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a lot easier for the college coaches.
Right.
I mean, they have a busy schedule anyways. I mean, all of it's on their plate. I mean, it's much easier to just go to an event and watch all the kids that are. I mean, even at the AAU, I mean, getting noticed at high school games, some of those guys may not even want to play in college. I mean, but if you're playing an AAU event, you probably want to. Exactly. So I know it would be much easier if I was the college coach. I would much rather go there and I mean, you may want to touch on that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Speaking on, going out watching kids, obviously during high school athletics, especially here, in the state of Kentucky, it's the same time during, college basketball if you're practicing and or playing. So it's hard for a college coach unless you have a large staff to be able to go and watch a high school game. So it's definitely more convenient to watch, go to a Rupp Arena, the little auxiliary gym and watch multiple games in one night and be able to pick and choose who folks, would like to pursue. And
also I feel like if you do watch them at an event, they're playing against a little better competition than high school basketball, so you kind of really get to see who they are as a player and as a person. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
I think you hit on something, though. Like, if folks are out there watching, especially from I think from a basketball standpoint, it's great that the kids are playing on AAUs and they're getting surrounded by better talent and so forth. But if you can't master those fundamentals, the dribbling, the passing,
get that rebound,
getting rebounds, blocking out,
IQ, just like
right?
just
like it almost being on that AAU, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
it costs hundreds to thousands of dollars, especially when you're traveling.
A season.
Yeah. A season. Yeah. So, if folks are out there listening, just saying from a basketball perspective, you got to master those basics. If you can't master those basics, you're wasting your time and money.
I agree, 100%.
And I think there's room for, like, Parks and Rec, even for players that are, above and beyond the talent, just because you're getting reps in, you're getting gym time.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So.
Yeah.
Right. Now, from a Parks and Rec's perspective, being in, a Montgomery County guy, what was your experience like through that? I know we spoke about the AAU team, but from a junior pro, Montgomery County, Mount Sterling.
Yeah, I mean, I know I played upward for, I don't really know what age that started. Maybe like 4. Would that be like 4? Maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, something like that.
We started 4. Yeah,
okay.
4 years old.
Okay, yeah. So started that year, whatever. Did that for 4, 5, 6, 7. But at that point, you're just like kind of making friends and just like having fun. Like,
right.
You still like enjoy playing.
Fall in love with the sport.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yep.
So that was good, but I don't remember like the Parks and Rec. I don't know if I ever participated in that. I know I think second grade we started the Trojans little travel AAU team, and I mean we played every weekend we could with Mason County, Lexington, Louisville, wherever we could go.
Right.
But speaking to like the Parks and Rec, I don't know if there was one. I mean, I'm sure there may have been one, but
there's been some sort of Parks and Rec, and it's rebuilding here. The system's rebuilding a little bit in that area. I've got my little boy, he's 7.
Okay.
He just turned 7. He's been playing for since he's 4.
Yeah.
So he's gets 2 seasons a year because we'll do a Parks and Rec and we'll do the Gateway Church league there. So I think that basketball is making a turn in Mount Sterling where it's getting better here in Montgomery County.
Yeah, it seems like there's more options now. I mean, especially when it was just like maybe one and you kind of had to.
And I think you mentioned a lot of great volunteers and coaches, that impacted, your upbringing when it came to basketball, and a lot of times it takes those types of people, to really get in the trenches and really develop and cultivate talent, homegrown talent.
I agree. No, I mean, just having those like influential people like in your ear or just like helping you be positive and like support you throughout your childhood, especially, it just goes a long way. Like, especially when you're growing up and like, I don't know, just going through high school, you maybe like have a bad game or struggling during the season, whether shooting slump, anything like that. Just like knowing who brought you up and those people are still there supporting you, like at every one of your games, regardless of like if you have a bad game or not, just goes a long way for sure.
Right. Yeah. For those just tuning in, we are speaking here live with Brennan Canada, former UK guard, right out of Mount Sterling, Kentucky.
Brennan, you had a bunch of games with Montgomery County in high school, and then you made a change. How long were you here? 2 years?
Yeah, it was my freshman and sophomore year.
Freshman and sophomore year, and then you made a change to hop over to Clark County. What kind of went with that move, I guess?
Yeah, it's just kind of a better fit for me and my family. My dad works in Clark County, so it was easier for him. And for me, just making new relationships, kind of like opening doors, kind of just like making me kind of uncomfortable, taking me out of my shell, kind of making new friends. They had a good basketball team. I just happened to be an extra part of it, just kind of going there. And I enjoyed it, man. I mean, it helped me become the person I am today. Just like kind of facing a little adversity, broke my leg my sophomore year, and kind of just getting a new fresh start my junior year. So it helped me out a lot. Helped me like through college. It was way easier for me to make friends because you're going into like kids you grew up with, friends for your whole life, and then like you're not with them anymore and you're with new people. So just kind of building those relationships, all that type of stuff. So it was super, super helpful.
Right, and you're kind of one of the you're on the text group, right? I mean, your generation is a texting generation, not a talking generation,
right?
So I guess being able to hop over and have conversations with people was that tough when you started out, or I mean,
honestly, no. I prefer to talk on the phone rather than text personally. I'm really bad at texting. I probably have, I don't know how many unread text messages. But no, it wasn't too bad. It was, everybody there was super like helpful with me, like putting me in the right direction with like classes, people I need to hang out with, meeting new people, like, oh, you should like, I'm gonna introduce you to him because you have this in common, whatever. So it was super helpful. Created friends really fast. I mean, I went to school there like the last couple weeks of my sophomore year, I think, if I remember right. And I had friends for that summer, just from those 2 weeks, So it was, that was super. It was good to fall back on rather than just like kind of being out of luck that summer. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. So you kind of, like you said, you played at Montgomery County High School, and then we transitioned over to GRC. Talk about the differences from here and there, and maybe the coaching style or play and so forth. Yeah,
I mean, when I was in Montgomery County, it was I enjoyed it. I loved everyone that was here. I mean, coaching staff was great, everything. It was definitely a little different over there. I mean, in high school, a lot of people do the same way, things the same way, like this, that, whatever. Over at GRC, I mean, I feel like there was – I'm trying to think, like, maybe like a little bit more like intense, I guess, kind of. Not like much difference, but like, you know, like
urgency.
It was like a little bit like, you know, that kind of thing. But I mean, I was super happy when I transitioned. I mean, like it seemed like everybody around it was like super bought into it too. You know, like most of those guys on GRC played basketball. Like, you know, we could still have practices like out of season, you know. Mm-hmm. We had a couple guys play football that would, you know, come in a little late. But yeah, but for the most part, that was super different for me. I mean, I feel like in Montgomery County we had a lot of guys play like a bunch of different sports. So, you know, you may have 4 or 5 kids at open gym rather than a full team. You know, that was something that stood out to me. Other than that, man, I mean, everybody just loved being in the gym at both places. Don't get me wrong, both places, like everybody loved basketball and stuff like that. But both places were great experiences, and both helped me out in many different ways.
Great. Everybody, we are talking with Brennan Canada here on a podcast, Out There Winning. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Just remember, later on in the show, we're going to do a questions and answer portion with Brennan. He's agreed, so have your UK basketball and anything questions. He said he's answering them all. But here's a word from our sponsors.
Out There Winning podcast is brought to you in part by Dubby, your taste buds' favorite energy drink.
Follow your bubby over to Facebook and click on the W. Get a 10% discount with our code Out There Winning. Great Yard Prime Wash, Pressure Wash, and Soft Wash Services.
Destroy and grind, one house at a time. Contact Great Yard Prime Wash at greatyardprimewash.com.
Pool Brothers. Turn your backyard into a dream oasis.
Complete pool installations from start to finish. Contact Pool Brothers at poolbrothers.com.
Chill Zone CBD at chillzonecbd.com.
Discover the natural benefits of CBD with our premium products. Whether you're seeking for relaxation, relief, or rejuvenation, our CBD's offering have you covered.
Your journey to natural relief starts at Chill Zone CBD. chillzonecbd.com.
X-Powered Travel.
Escape the ordinary and explore the extraordinary with our travel packages tailored to satisfy every wanderlust. Whether you crave the serenity of pristine beaches, the thrill of vibrant cities, or the awe-inspiring beauty of nature's wonders, we have the perfect destination waiting for you.
X-Powered Travel at xpoweredtravel.com. Next Level Entertainment.
Elevate your event to the next level with our premier mobile DJ services. Whether you're planning a wedding, corporate event, birthday bash, or any special occasion, our professional DJs are here to keep the party rocking all night long.
Find us on Facebook at Next Level Entertainment.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Out There Winning podcast. In the winner's circle, we have Brennan Canada, and we've been talking about how he grew up playing basketball, all things going with that, and we've been talking about his high school career, and now we're going to just continue our talk, and Akeem has a question here.
Yep. So, again, if you hadn't had opportunity to like, share, and subscribe, you can do that now. And as mentioned, we've been talking with Brennan about all things basketball and his upbringing between Montgomery County and Clark County and his time there. You know, Brennan, you would do a lot of things that Montgomery County would say is a no-no, and a lot of people think that Clark County would say a no-no, and that's a big rivalry. You know, you went from one school to another, which is a huge rivalry. Some would say you entered the dark side and so forth like that, or the Dirty Birds or whatnot. And again, as mentioned, both are great programs, right? Great facilities and all those. Can you discuss that rivalry from Montgomery County to Clark, and then Clark playing Montgomery?
Yeah, I guess my freshman year was, I believe we did. We beat Clark twice my freshman year, so that was a big deal. It was kind of like, I wasn't in middle school. You're not really aware of, like, I mean, it's a rivalry, but you're not like, oh, really, what is it?
Right.
But no, I mean, my freshman year, we won both times, and I kind of got like the gist of it. Like, you're in the games, you're playing, crowds. Yeah, it means something to the crowds. You kind of get up for those games, and even like all the district games, but just like especially the Clark and Montgomery County win. That's like everybody's out for that game. All the students, whatever. You know how it is. But definitely got to see that my freshman year. So I knew like it was a bigger. It's still just a game, but at the end of the day, it's it means a little more.
Right.
So and then my sophomore year, I wasn't able to play in either one of those. Broke my leg. So I only got to experience it in Montgomery County twice. And then at Clark, it was kind of the same. Actually, we viewed every games. They were a little different, kind of.
Right.
We just kind of like
every game.
Yeah, it wasn't like anything different, And that's kind of I kind of got it was a different like mindset there, I guess. Like it was just like, every game's like you would treat every game the same way. Like if you're playing, I think we opened the season with my senior year, maybe Bath County, and like we viewed that game the same as we viewed Campbell County in the region championship. Like there was no difference, But just like everybody knew like the district games mean something because you're trying to get the number one seed, you want to be best team in the district, whatever. So definitely the rivalry definitely meant something. Especially, I mean, it was a little weird for me, obviously transitioning from Montgomery to Clark. I mean, the first game against your boys you grew up with was, it was weird, like seeing them in different, like me in a different jersey and looking at them and going like, well, it's whatever. But no, it was fun. I mean, it was fun to play. I mean, against your friends and stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, it wasn't like really any different,
right?
In a way.
Yeah, just competitive and like as you mentioned, just different mindsets for different folks. So as you're transitioning from Montgomery to Clark, and obviously playing on some AAU circuits, right?
Mm-hmm.
You finally are now a highlight, right? Coaches are out there highlighting you now on the recruiting trail. Do you recall your first school inquiry?
Yeah, actually, I was kind of like unaware, I guess, of how exactly the whole process took place because it hits you like fast. I mean, but I guess you're a junior when they can call you?
Yep.
First summer, whatever, someday in the summer. I don't know. I was about to go work out at GRC. I just moved, whatever, Troy University. I don't even know if it's in Alabama. But
we got a softball player going to Troy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Reaganoni. Yeah.
So that was the first school that called me, and that was on that day. And I didn't really know if anyone was gonna call me, but
sure
they did, and a couple others. I can't even remember. I mean, there was a handful, and then you just kind of see how that goes throughout the summer. But yeah, that was like the first one I got.
Okay.
Division I wise on that day.
And then it progresses. You roll into your senior year, and then you've got schools, other schools looking at you, bigger schools.
Yeah.
Who hopped on your senior year?
It's the whole recruiting thing's weird. I mean, you know how it is. It's like, especially if you're not like going Power 5, it's a little weird. Like the scholarships matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't take it, well then if somebody hops onto it before you, then it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like you never know like what's going to happen at any given time. So it's kind of like if you get it, you might as well. You may want to hop on if you think that's somewhere you want to go. So I was contacting Marshall a lot. That's who I was like, I liked. I mean, I was Radford. There was Lehigh. There was like some schools up north. And there were some schools like Air Force that.
It's everybody in between, right?
But like I didn't, you're not going there, but you entertain everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Lipscomb, Bellarmine, just like a bunch of schools that are just like kind of the same mid-level teams, and that's kind of how that went. And then eventually I decided I was going to go to Kentucky and do that whole thing there, which was a good experience.
Yeah. So you've had everybody in between, and really wanted to point out too, you also were in a recruiting era, right? When COVID is getting ready to to have its outbreak and so forth, and you obviously playing through that, and we'll get to that later. But you also had when you were signing your letters of intent and so forth to University of Kentucky, you were also signing in an era where that being able to back out was extremely hard.
Yeah.
And today it's you could sign, it's just whatever the paper's worth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
show me that bag.
Yeah. Show me that money, right? When you commit to Kentucky, right? For a Kentucky kid, what does that mean to you?
It meant a lot to me. Everything. I mean, you grow up like watching all the UK games. Whenever they play, you're staying up watching with your family, whatever, enjoying those times. So it meant a lot because I mean, every kid, basketball player that I know in Kentucky's dreams to play at Rupp Arena, or like whether it be for Kentucky or in KHSO State Tournament, whatever, any way you can get there, So that was always super cool. Was just kind of growing up and seeing that.
Yeah. What did Blake say? Picking UK over Lippy is crazy.
But no, it meant a lot. It was super. I appreciative and super fun.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to get a new sweatshirt because you already had it. Right?
I know, right? I didn't have to. Yeah. Much of the closet didn't really change.
So we get to UK, and right when that conversation happens, right when that visit happens, take us on a little trip on that visit when you first got that call and said, "Hey, Brennan, we want you to come up for a visit."
Yeah. I was in school. I'm trying to think. I don't remember what class it was, but anyways, I was in school and someone called me. Someone called me, and it was Coach Justice, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come up on a visit? This is like what we're thinking. What do you think about it?" And I was like, "Let me talk to my parents and I'll see," because I didn't really know where my head was at really about that or just like everything else in general. I went home, talked over my parents. We went up to visit. They were playing Houston in the Elite Eight. Went and visited the day before they left, so it's like watch practice, met with the coaches and stuff like that, see how things were ran, all that. Did that. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm interested, whatever. So they played their games, whatever. They came back. I went on another visit with just me and my mom. We met with Cal, did that whole thing, found out, toured campus a little bit, see how things were.
Right.
Then went back home, went on another visit, and it was like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. So that's kind of how it took place. Just a couple visits, talk, meet everybody, see if I'm a good fit.
Took you way longer than it took me.
Oh yeah, it was a couple visits.
They wasn't asking me.
Yeah. So obviously, Coach Cal had probably been there for a little while prior to you getting there, right? You were there towards the last of his tenure there, right? Walking into that office, from a much smaller standpoint, being at Midway, but you walking into Cal's office, what was that whole interaction like?
It was kind of surreal for me. I mean, like you see him like on TV or like maybe you're at one of his camps or something like that. But it was like I said, it was just kind of surreal. You're in there, you're like meeting him, and then you're like having a conversation about like you and your family, and then him telling about whatever he's got to say, like his spill, and so it was just kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what was the thing that stood out to you during that conversation with Cal? What was the thing that like, man, you know what, I want to play for that guy?
Yeah, I mean, just how genuine he was, and like how much you could tell that he like, I mean, just for meeting him briefly, how much like care he had for me and my family, and how he wanted to help me and my family in any way that he could. Just how genuine he was, and basically just like the way he interacted with me and my parents.
Right. Now, so you're there for your first year, right? Mm-hmm. Graduating, you really had a great career there at Clark County. You get there your freshman year, and you join your freshman year. Y'all went 25-6.
Yeah, we had a really good team.
Went to the tournament. Talk about that time and the friendships that you made that freshman year.
Yeah, that team was probably maybe one of the closest teams I had the whole time I was there. But it was It was super. I mean, that team was great. We had a couple guys come back. So some sophomores like Manuel Quickly, Ashton Higgins, Nick Richards was a junior, I think. But we had a good team. But that season was so fun. I mean, we started the season slow. I think we lost to Evansville at home after we beat Michigan State at the Garden. Lost to 2 games in Vegas. We lost to Utah and Ohio State. Then I think we may have lost like the second game in SEC play to South Carolina, and they weren't very good that year. So that's like 4 out of the 6 losses before the second week of January. You know what I'm saying? So we came together, we fought through some stuff, and I mean that team was super fun to be a part of. We were always together, doing everything together, whatever it was. Practices were great, competitive, super competitive. Those guys really loved. I mean, all of these guys loved to be in the gym, but just super competitive and grateful for the opportunities that everyone on that team had. So
right.
we still that team. I mean, we still talk all the time, just group chats or whatever, individuals, whatever.
Gotcha. Then we go into the sophomore year. That was when COVID was probably at its peak.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes during that time were getting sick and weren't unable to play. Fan attendance was very low, and obviously a lot of folks, a lot of teams didn't get to play their full seasons.
Right.
And that would probably be, if we not even take a look at it, but it's probably one of the worst seasons that Cal had in that tenure. But it, obviously due to COVID, 9-16. Talk about that, what COVID and how it impacted maybe your game and college in general.
That what's it called? That season was super weird. I mean, all the like rules you had to follow just with the COVID testing protocols. Like, I remember we were in the lodge and like you were essentially confined to your room, so like you couldn't go like interact with the guys. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like the only time you're really together was at practice, which was really tough because you're in practice for like, so you wake up and I think COVID test was 6:30 a.m. every day. Yeah.
Gosh.
And then you go back to sleep, whatever you do, and then if everybody's negative, then you got up. Practice would be at usually 2 or 3. So you go lift, whatever, and it was really hard for guys to get like extra work in because like you're in a window of when you could be in the gym. So like essentially it would be like 1 to 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then it was really tough to like come together whenever you're not spending time with each other. You know what I'm saying? It was just really hard to like get those connections. But you had to wear like little chips on your practice shorts, and it would like if you were in contact with people like for more than 15 minutes, and you have to like go to what's it called?
Quarantine and so forth.
Exactly. Yeah. So like even if you don't have it, so it was just like really like crazy rules, that like you had to follow to try to be successful. So it was really challenging. And like you said, there's no fans in the stands at any of the games. Like very few.
What's that like? I mean, play with like. You used to feel like a practice instead of a game.
Yeah. Sometimes you have more people at practice than you. I mean.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it was super strange. It was like even different from like an empty high school gym because like you probably have more people then too. But it was just super spread out and like there's no like really engagement. You know what I'm saying? You're just kind of there, you and your team that you rarely get to see because you're in your room. But
right. The good thing that came out of COVID obviously was the ability to be able to extend one's career, right? Being able to get that extra year, that grad year. Obviously we can go season from junior to senior through your grad year. I mean, you've eclipsed over 107 wins, under Cal, with his time being there with over 400 wins. I mean, you were part of the teams that were super successful, through the ups and downs.
Right.
I know there's a lot of people that, may have some, negative with Cal, but me personally. I really enjoyed Cal's time here. Some people would say he had underachieved or whatnot, but but he was producing some great talent, was recruiting great talent, was also able to win, and obviously I also wish Coach Pope much success. I'm always a UK fan. I don't care what bracket we're there. UK is always in the championship. You know what I mean?
100%.
But. Through your grad year, 23-10, right? Get to the NCAA, buddy from Oakland shooting lights out. It's tournament time, right? Like
Yeah.
What's the talk in the locker room at halftime?
What's the huddle sound like when this guy is just? I mean, he's how old is this fella?
25.
Yeah, he's 25,
I mean, he's an older
26.
fella.
Yeah.
And he is absolutely just killing it.
Yeah.
What's that sound like in the locker room?
What can you say?
Right.
I mean, like, what do you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
when somebody's on, it's on. It's like watching Billy Ho from
White Man Can't Jump.
You Can't Jump. Just he's in a zone.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, really, it was just kind of like, I mean, like you have a hand in his face and you're trying. I mean, it's not like you're not trying to guard him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, I mean, he's throwing shots up from here, like fade away, whatever, and then just going in, and you're just like, I mean, maybe like eventually he'll stop missing if you like were doing something, but it just didn't. I mean, it was just like stay the course. Like this happens all. I mean, at Kentucky, I've never in my entire life like seen the people like play the way they do when they're playing Kentucky. It's unreal.
It's everybody's Super Bowl.
Yeah. When you're playing Kentucky, it's everybody. You're going to get the best game,
and
right?
It was just like, and you kind of got like used to it, but then you would still be like surprised. You're like, okay, that guy averages 2 points a game. He's hitting 1 3 all year. How does he have 4 threes and 14 points? You know what I'm saying? It's just like those sort of things that happen. You're just like it's really tough to, I mean, especially scout and game plan for that type of stuff because you're not expecting like the ninth guy on the bench to come out and have 15 points. And then when he does, it's like, okay, well then what do you do now?
you mentioned that a little bit.
His mom was buying a ticket to that game.
Right. I mean, you mentioned that a little bit earlier, James. You said, I mean, the kid was, obviously he's older, right? He's probably was there for multiple years. Yeah. You're playing against a Kentucky team that's young. Mm-hmm. And that was typically the common theme that you would see under Cal. Like, from a standpoint, what kind of difference, in your opinion, because you played it, right? You played at the highest level. You've seen multiple NBA guys there in the gym.
Yeah.
What is the comparison, or is there a comparison when you're playing 19-year-old, 20-year-old NBA guy, right, caliber player, through this, y'all played so many different ages, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, definitely when you're young, you're still kind of adjusting to the college game, but that's like in anything in life. When you're new in something, like you got to figure out the ropes and then eventually, figure out how to do it.
Right.
Exactly. So, I mean, those guys are like, I mean, they may be more expensive, but they're not better basketball players. You know what I'm saying? If they were, then they'd be in the NBA. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's like kind of just the same thing, just like finding like exactly how everything works and understanding that and knowing how like to do certain and tough moments, different moments, like that type of stuff is how I see it. Like, I mean, even for me, like I'm like just the amount of stuff that you learn like the first week when I was there on campus was just like an overload, and I was like, what I'm saying? You don't even know what he's talking about. Sometimes you're like, okay, and then like you eventually get it and you get it. But no, I mean, like I said, it's just like one of those things, like kind of relating back to what I was talking to. If somebody has a hot night, it's really tough to stop them. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. So I mean, the age for me, I mean, I personally, I think it's just a thing. Like, I'd rather have the better basketball player at the end of the day than, like, I don't care if he's 25 or 18.
I loved like, so me personally, and it may be an unpopular opinion, but I love getting the guys in there that were the one and dones didn't bother me at all because I like watching those guys progress, go to the NBA because we watch NBA basketball.
Yeah.
So we watch some of it, and my little boy watches it every night right now as he's going to bed. We enjoy that. We like to know who's there. We like to watch them come up. But man, like somebody like you're in the locker room. I mean, you're the oldest guy on the team.
Yeah.
You're
sure.
the mature fella.
Yeah.
Does it feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, especially when guys first get on campus, like, they ask people who've been here before, like, oh, how's practice going to be? How's this going to be ran? Like, how do you do this? And, you give them a rundown and stuff, but it's you get adjusted to it super quick because it stays the same, and most of the stuff stays the same every day. You know how practice is. Like, you have a plan, and you usually go by the same way, like, however it goes each day. So it's super easy to learn. But it's just like, what do you expect when you first get there? So you definitely get asked a lot of questions, like, how do you do this drill? How do you offensive sets, defensive sets? Like, what does he want here? What does this coach want whenever I'm doing this? You know what I'm saying? So it was good to have, like, I guess me and like Antonio last year, a couple guys like that to rely on when it comes to like being prepared for that type of stuff. But it was definitely different, being one of the older guys for sure.
Well, everybody, it's time to go to the next commercial break. Now, we are here with Brennan Canada. Coming right out of the break, we're going to go to a question and answers portion. I've seen a few questions go across the screen. We're going to try to backtrack to some of those if we can, but if not, go ahead and ask them again because we'll see them.
Out There Winning Podcast is brought to you in part by Dubby, your taste buds' favorite energy drink.
Follow your bubby over to Facebook and click on the W. Get a 10% discount with our code Out There Winning. Great Yard Prime Wash, Pressure Wash, and Soft Wash Services.
Destroy and grind, one house at a time. Contact Great Yard Prime Wash at greatyardprimewash.com.
Pool Brothers. Turn your backyard into a dream oasis.
Complete pool installations from start to finish. Contact Pool Brothers at poolbrothers.com.
Chill Zone CBD at chillzonecbd.com.
Discover the natural benefits of CBD with our premium products. Whether you're seeking for relaxation, relief, or rejuvenation, our CBD's offering have you covered.
Your journey to natural relief starts at Chill Zone CBD. chillzonecbd.com.
X-Powered Travel.
Escape the ordinary and explore the extraordinary with our travel packages tailored to satisfy every wanderlust. Whether you crave the serenity of pristine beaches, the thrill of vibrant cities, or the awe-inspiring beauty of nature's wonders, we have the perfect destination waiting for you.
X-Powered Travel at xpoweredtravel.com. Next Level Entertainment.
Elevate your event to the next level with our premier mobile DJ services. Whether you're planning a wedding, corporate event, birthday bash, or any special occasion, our professional DJs are here to keep the party rocking all night long.
Find us on Facebook at Next Level Entertainment.
Welcome back to the show, Out There Winning Podcast with James and Akeem. We have Brennan Canada here in the winner's circle, and we're going to go to some questions and answers. We'll kind of hop right in with these. I know Blake Thomas was talking about some golf a second ago. What's he talking about?
Oh, I think we got a men's league match on. It was supposed to be Thursday, but I can't play Thursday either, so I think we're playing it tomorrow, but Blake's not in town, so I think he has a.
He left town on you. Wow.
I'm leaving town too, so I don't know who it was on, but we're making it up tomorrow.
So y'all got like a little men's league?
Yeah, at the Winchester Country Club, we're playing a men's league. So
okay.
There's a bunch of those guys out there, and then you play every Thursday.
Well,
are you any good?
Yeah.
Tell something about golf.
I'm like a
Blake seems to think he's better.
14 handicap. I'm not great. I just like out there having fun. I'm not friends, but that's about it.
That's a good deal. Good deal.
What else is up there?
Let me see. Ain't no other ones on there. Let's see.
We catch a question. We'll go ahead and hop back to it.
Let's talk about Cal produced over 40 plus NBA guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys were during your time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In your opinion, if you had some rankings, who's your top, guy that you played with?
Yeah, for me, it's probably, I don't know. Every single one of the guys are great basketball players, you know what I'm saying? And just obviously so amazing, and like they're that talented at basketball, For me, probably Tyrese Maxey. My freshman year, it's kind of opened my eyes. I mean, he had a pretty good year at Kentucky, but I mean, like an NBA took way off. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I just kind of always knew that he was capable of that. He's such a hard worker and like his mindset. But I mean, all those guys, Tyrese, Manuel quickly. I mean,
He plays some great talent.
Ty. I mean, the list goes on, but just a bunch
You
of.
still keep in touch with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, we talk. Like I said, each team has a group chat, and hit each other up in that whenever something comes up or just whatever. But then, you talk to some of those guys you're close with on weekly basis, or whatever. Just tap in with them and see how they're doing and stuff like that.
So I got to ask you this. This hit I saw it on Facebook either today or yesterday.
Big shout out to Chris Hatfield.
Yeah. Did you know that Reed Shepherd had a 42-inch vertical? I mean, did you know that? Does he show it all the time?
Well, so the vertical arms too. So some of those guys have super long arms and they don't have to jump as high,
Yeah.
And his arms aren't super long. So it was. I mean, you always knew he could jump super high because his arms are just normal length, and he's still touching the top, touching the top of the square. You know what I'm saying? You don't see him dunk.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets up there pretty good. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was crazy. I never knew exactly how high he could jump, but
Right.
I'm not super surprised. You know what I'm saying?
So there were only 22 people ever do that in the combine. Or
Yeah,
42
I'm
or
sure
better.
Shaden Sharp had to be one of them because he jumps out of the gym.
Yeah.
I remember he was there.
Yep.
He had a 40, I don't know what, 48, maybe 47.
So during your practices, right? I'm sure there's NBA scouts in there all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But what was the average? How many
I
was
think it
in
just
there at a
depends on
time?
the week and just like that. I mean, there's always someone in there though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Every
Who was in there most frequently? Which NBA team was in there most frequently?
Dude, they were all. I mean, it just you kind of got so to a point you didn't even really pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they're just in there every day. It's oh, they're supposed to be here.
Did y'all have much interaction with the AD, Mitch Barnhart?
Oh yeah, he would come around to practices and be on the trips and stuff like that. So you would definitely interact with all those people in the athletic department, whatever, roles, whatever. So you definitely have relationships with all those people for sure.
So it felt kind of normal, I guess. It just feels normal.
Yeah, those people are in the gym, they're just they're supposed to be there. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? For some people, you're oh well, that's wow, but no, I mean yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe elaborate a little bit, because we wanted to obviously talk about your basketball career and so forth, but your how has UK prepared you? Obviously for the real world, so to speak. A lot of people out there think that a UK type of caliber kid, they don't go to class.
Yeah.
They don't go to school. They just play basketball all the time, and they don't know the behind the scenes of it and all the extra work that's been put into it to prepare them for a career.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I can definitely assure all the people out there that UK basketball players do go to class. They are required to go to class, and they do all this stuff, tutors, study hall, all that stuff. So that's definitely true. But no, it's prepared me, in so many different ways, just every aspect. Communication, networking, my standards of myself, and people I want to be around, the people I want to learn from, mentors, that type of stuff. Just all that. Any way that I could be successful is because of them. People I met there through the journey or whatever. So it's been. I'm forever grateful and so appreciative of all the people that I met during my time there.
Vintage Snowman. Oh, they're bringing my best friend into this versus Canada. Who wins? Now, hold on. Vintage Snowman. Is that a vintage snowman 23 years old or vintage snowman 17 years old? Because he went to college at 17.
That was true.
Yeah,
That's
because
true,
he was.
So
He was young. Berea College.
Yeah.
I'll give. I don't. I mean,
He would. He definitely, if he would have waited till 19 to graduate, I think he could have went D1. No, no question.
Yeah. No,
He's still pretty decent.
Yeah, Snow's good,
Oh, yeah.
man. I mean,
40, was he 42?
is he? I mean, he's still. I mean, you see him
We're
in
old
men's league.
guys
He's out
now,
there
yeah.
dunking still.
It'd
Yeah.
be crazy to bring back an alumni game, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would be nice. We almost got one on the men's league team. Camargo League Snowman. Camargo League Snowman.
So he's in his 20s.
Okay.
Okay.
18, between 19 20.
I'll tell you what. Just because I'll vote in and I'll take the Snowman only because, well, not only because he's really good, but he's my best friend. I got to take him.
Yeah.
I back him every time.
For sure. Nah,
They both they both bring different aspects of the game for sure. I think Snowman probably get him down low, but I think
Yeah.
you bring him out to the top. I think Brendan's going to
Now,
outshoot him.
Brennan does move well with the ball.
Oh yeah,
That's it. And the shooting, he shoots. That's He went off that last weekend. I watched him play.
He remembered his Trojan days.
Yeah.
I did. I had a little flashback. I think I just need to take a month off every time or 3 weeks. I hadn't touched a basketball.
Man, you had like 50. I don't know how many points you had because in that league we're in, they keep track of the score, but they don't keep track of individual stats.
Yeah.
But I know you had 40. I think you probably had 50.
Getting into the next segment of this piece, because again, you came in Kentucky, right?
Yep.
Around 19, what do you say?
Both beating Will Toy. I have heard that Will Toy is the best dunker to ever go through Montgomery County High School. I heard that. And you can imagine who told me that. It was Will Toy.
He can get up there though.
He can
There've been a lot of folks that come through here.
We're friends, so I give him a lot of crap. I know he can jump. I don't know about best though.
Just speaking on the, when you get there during that era to the era that you're actually coming out of, right? Meaning there was no NIL, now there is.
Yeah.
How has that changed the game, and how does that change from a locker room perspective? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll start there, and then I'll ask another follow-up there.
Okay. No, I mean, NIL, as you can see, all over any social media or anything, it's definitely had like a major impact on college athletics, and very positive ways for athletes for them to be able to make money off their name, image, likeness, and that type of stuff. But it also is kind of tricky when it comes to like how it works and like who gets what, and like how it affects recruiting and stuff. And then relating to the locker room, for the teams that I was a part of, it never affected any of us because like we just didn't really.
But they knew it was going to make it anyway, right?
Did the money change the attitude? I guess.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So everybody was. That was like. That was never a topic of discussion in any locker room that I was ever in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I can see in like maybe some teams that's something they deal with, but just where it wasn't. So, yeah, I can see how it could be. I can also see like
and the reason why I asked, because we go down and we face a Division I opponent down in Tennessee, and I'm driving, at the smaller schools, right, we drive the vans,
okay, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We don't get the big, charters, and really blessed where I'm at and so forth. But, I'm back in the van in, getting ready to let the guys out in the back door, and I see this Lamborghini truck pull up, and one of the athletes get out of the car. And, I'm just sitting in there, and I'm looking up the NILs because it's on open doors, and, and I see the gentleman making $1.8 million. And I'm like, how does somebody, from a coaching standpoint now, right? How does somebody coach somebody who makes more than the coach? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to tell that guy nothing unless they want to learn, unless they're humble to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think that's, I feel like that kind of relates to like the coach and like who he recruits too. Like, does he know that the person's going to like be like you said, do what he asks, or is he going to act like he's the coach because he makes more? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like falls back, in my opinion, it kind of falls back on the coaching. Like, does he, you know what I'm saying? Is he bringing in the people that he
right?
It's hard to know that coming out of high school because kids that are that talent coming out of high school, their coaches already, they got soft gloves, talking to them. They're not, in their butt all the time, anything like that.
But again, it goes, from a coaching standpoint, it goes back to, people used to go play for the coach, right? Or they go play for a program. Mm-hmm. I want to go play for, Coach Boeheim because I really was a zone guy or whatever, right?
Yeah.
My length, I could be utilized in that zone, yada, yada. Plus, he was a great coach, right? Mm-hmm. Now, it takes the coaching part out and says, how much are you going to give me?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that, like, it kind of also depends on, like, what that athlete, I guess, is, like, desired. Like, if you're trying to go to the NBA, whether you know what coaches can get you to the NBA. And, if I guess, like, for example, Coach Cal, like, Coach whoever, like, whoever the coaches are, they have had past NBA guys that are known to be able to do that. So that's, like, one way I feel like you can look at it. Like, is it, like, if you're trying to go to the NBA and that coach believes that you can do that, then, like, I think you would still go there. But in these other situations, like, it's whoever's going to offer you the most.
Well, just
money.
what's the player for Washington? Great, Osibor.
Yeah.
$2 million deal. I mean, what is that? I mean,
Woo, got that
I
bag.
mean, $2 million. What does that look like for that family? You know what I mean? Like, obviously $2 million is $2 million, but obviously that had to have a lot of say on where he was going. It'll take the kid out of it at that standpoint. Hey, look, Brennan, we're going to give you $2 million. Look, you're going there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the thing. Like, I mean, would you rather take $2 million or would you rather take like $750,000 somewhere else? I mean, I don't know like how it works for each
other players, right?
But like, that'd be like an option. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would take the $2 million because you're
get injured next week.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna get the $2 million, but it's like you could go play at this place and make X amount, but you can come here and make way more than you probably go to a place and make way more rather than take less money. I mean, that's like in anything. They're like working. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of anything like that.
Fun. And last one, what would have been his special nickname from Coach Scott?
Brennan's.
Oh, Brennan.
Had one for everybody.
Brennan, did you have a name from Coach Scott?
James Scott.
Everybody had a nickname.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Shoot. But yeah, we were talking about just the decisions from the NIL deals. With, we talk about like, if James, if I'm giving you, $1 million NIL deal, and I'm telling you as a coach, you're probably going to be top 5, top 10 draft pick, right? What's the true incentive for somebody to dive on the floor or make that hustle play, knowing that, you know what I mean? Knowing that they're going to be a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying? There's got to be a thin line. They got to be thinking something.
I ain't trying to hurt myself for nothing.
Yeah, I think it also just kind of depends on like how competitive you are, how bad you want to win, and like what kind of relationship you have in the locker room with like your team. Like, is the end goal like winning a national championship, or is it just everybody getting paid and leave it? You know what I'm saying? I think it just depends on that. Yeah.
Yeah. What were you saying, James?
I said I ain't dying for nothing. If they tell me that I'm a top 10 draft pick and they're going to give me $1 million to get me there, if I'm already there, I'm just going to play and try to keep my numbers up, and I'm not trying to get hurt.
So, which leads to the question: do those guys, should they already be going to the NBA?
I mean, my opinion is like, I mean, it worked in years past. I mean, like LeBron. I mean, all those guys.
Well, he's a little different.
Kobe. I mean, but there's like, I mean, there's a lot of like
Kevin
successful.
Garnett,
another different.
Kevin. I mean,
they all had that dog in them, though, didn't they? Right.
But I mean, if they're capable and like an NBA GM or team's willing to take them, they've done enough scouting on them, and they're willing to believe that that's what they can be, then why not? You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Well, they're 18, right? They should be able to make that decision.
What is their? If you're willing to, if they think that they are capable of meeting their expectations, I think yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I just think, from people ask, from a coach's standpoint, they people ask, even at the small school I'm at, do we do NIL deals?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is we do.
Yeah.
Not just there, but all small colleges, I'm sure, have access to NIL. It may not be the pot that, the UKs of the world or the Arkansas of the world have, but, we do have a NIL pot. But that is the first thing that most recruits ask.
Really?
Now is, what type of NIL deal do you have? But as you mentioned, your upbringing, right? That's why I like to hit on that. Who coached you in the beginning and the foundation that was built. For me, I know that I wanted to win.
Yep.
I'm winning a championship. That's what I played for. I wanted a ring or a banner at the end of the day. But a lot of these kids today don't play for that.
Yeah.
They play for the next level. Mm-hmm. So it always comes to that, that name. Do you play for the name on the front of the jersey, or do you play the name, for the name on the back? Yeah. So I know that from what you've told me, you play for the name on the front.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of your teammates did too. It's just unfortunate that the chips fell where they fell during that time.
For sure. I mean, just kind of like, I mean, always that was like the end goal for me, was just always winning, like regardless of what. Like if we're playing knockout on at recess. You know what I'm saying? You want to win.
Right.
Like, regardless, just competitive, and that's like what you want to do. So, I mean, that's kind of how it was for me, and that's how, I mean, that's like the people I would want to have on my team, and, you know, if I was a coach or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
You ever want to be a coach?
I thought about it. That's what I thought I wanted to do. And like I knew that if I wanted to get into coaching, I would want to do it at like I would eventually want to try to be at the highest level. So I'd want to coach like college basketball, Division I, whatever. And I just like being around it the past 5 years. The lifestyle is different. I mean, if you want to have any free time, like weekends, have a family, like anything, like it's really tough to do that. So I mean, I'm not saying no to never, but like now I just wanted to not do that, pursue that right now. So I mean, maybe down the line, but just not right now. I mean, I would still like to help out and stuff, like, but I couldn't like commit to, you know what I'm saying, 100% of that. Yeah.
You know, and as we start concluding, you graduated with your bachelor degree from UK. What was that in?
Bachelor's is in communication.
Communication, and then you finished your grad this past.
Yeah, my master's.
And what was that in?
It was Master's of Science in Kinesiology.
Okay, and what are you doing with that today?
That's what I'm trying to figure out now. I'm kind of taking a little time. The past 5 years have just been go.
Slow down.
So just kind of like being normal for, I mean, at least I have for the past week. So still just kind of like figuring out what route I want to go into. Maybe like leaning towards like medical sales, pharmaceutical sales route. So that's kind of like what I'm talking to people who have been in the business and just like getting a feel for that and like what I need to do.
Sure.
So that's kind of like the route, but like not necessarily in a rush, just to, you know, just before I start something like that again, but just like, you know, whenever something right comes about, I feels right, and just kind of do that.
So you heard that out there, everybody. Brennan is looking for a job, so send all your requests over to Brennan Canada.
No, Brennan, we appreciate you coming out, man, and you know, obviously we wish you a ton of success.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right, everybody. That's going to conclude our show here with Out There Winning Podcast. Thank you for watching and listening. And remember, everything you're doing out there, be out there winning.